everybody in?
And then I'm meeting everyone now.
Okay. I can see names popping in.
It's like bing, bing, bing.
Just need to get rid of that.
Welcome everyone. We're just admitting everyone in now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. No doubt after a long and busy day. Welcome to this webinar, which we've titled the Quality Assurance Review and Planning Your Next Programme. We're not going to labour the point too much to here today. We're looking to present this in about half hour. So all being well, we should be finishing around 4:30. Next slide, Holly, please.
Oh, can you see that?
Yep. And as you'll see, there'll be four of us delivering this webinar over the next half hour, and we'll all be presenting or answering questions at different times. So you've got two of us from the quality assurance team. So that's myself at the top there. I'm Paul Buckle, and my trusted colleague Lorraine Lord. We are the quality assurance officers, dealing primarily with centre approval, all things quality assurance associated with course delivery and assessment. And we have I have two colleagues from the business development team, Joe Clark and Holly Mulberry, and these are your business development officers, and they provide support and guidance on the programs available, course registration and prices, and they give advice on future delivery plans. Next slide, Holly, please. Sorry, everybody. I think there's a slight delay, Holly, from your slides coming on the screen to me seeing it, which is why I'm just delaying ever so slightly. So we've split this webinar essentially in half. So 50% of it will be related to quality assurance, and the other 50% will be related to the development team about planning your next program. So as far as the quality assurance input is concerned, we'll be looking at certificating your course, requesting your certificates through Centre Hub, which I have touched upon previously, uploading course evidence into Centre Hub, and again, to not want to keep harping on about the past, I have touched upon that equally in a previous webinar. The quality assurance review meeting, and I'm going to give you an overview on that one, mainly so you know the mechanics of what's involved, but importantly to put your mind at ease. Nothing to worry about. There's nothing to dread. It's nothing, certainly nothing to be anxious over. It's set in a very informal manner. We'll look at the outcomes following a quality assurance review of the evidence and actions, if relevant. And most importantly of all, I'll show you a video of downloading certificates, because ultimately that's what it's all about, getting the learners their certificates. That will be pretty much it from me, and then I'll hand over to the development team, Holly and Joe, and they will look at planning your next program, talk about the offers, pathways of leadership, and how they can generally help with you going forward. And what I should have mentioned at the beginning is that, of course, you may have some questions that are thrown up throughout this presentation. We're going to keep them to the end part of the webinar, so we'll let it flow for half hour, and right at the end we'll take your questions. Next slide, please, Holly. Okay, so first stage first, then we're looking at requesting certificates, and this is done through Centre Hub. Now, intuitively, with claiming certificates, more often than not, I hear from centre managers that, oh, I didn't claim certificates because I thought we had to do the quality assurance review first, which is logical, I must say. Ideally, though, we as a quality assurance team, we would prefer you went into Centre Hub and on at the part of course completion, you claim your certificates. This is ideal for us because it gives us a chance to, before we meet for the quality assurance review, to check in Centre Hub against the registered learners who you've claimed a certificate for, and then we can match that against the internal assessment record that you've uploaded as part of the course evidence. And in the ideal world, the two should match. However, that said, don't worry if you haven't claimed certificates before your quality assurance review. It can be done afterwards, and in fact, more often than not, I during the quality assurance review, if there's not several courses being delivered, I along with the centre manager, talk them through the process so they claim during the quality assurance review. So either one of those options would be okay. Now there's two just to complicate matters. There's two processes for claiming certificates. So there's a process if the cohort is under 25 learners, and there's another process for the cohort over 25 learners. The process for claiming certificates for the over 25 learners is somewhat more difficult than claiming for cohorts under 25 learners. Now, I'm not going to try and explain the process for either of those processes because I know in a nanosecond you'd glaze over and I would lose your concentration span, and I certainly wouldn't do it justice. However, we have got video 2-minute videos of each of those processes which show clearly the different stages you need to go through to claim the certificates, and those are available via Centre Hub, and they are very, very useful. And I have to say, we have YouTube video clips for pretty much all the processes. So applying for a course, registering learners, um, adding and managing centre delivery staff, uploading evidence, etc. And I urge all of you, if you're struggling with a process, see if there is a video, a YouTube video link, and watch it because they are really, really helpful. So even though we've got two different processes, one for under 25 and one for over 25 learners, there is one common function for both. So when you've claimed your certificates and press the save button, you must go back into the course homepage and press, as you can see at the bottom of the slide, all certificates claimed, submit. And this then finalizes the process. It formalizes the process, and it pushes it through. If that button's not pressed, it won't go through, and it will show that you've not claimed the certificates. So the key take home from this is once you've saved it, go back to the home page and press all certificates claim submit. Next slide, please, Holly. Okay, I did touch upon this actually as well in the last webinar back in March, but I put it in again just as a quick refresher, really. So it's just showing what we expect you to upload prior to your quality assurance review. And essentially, there's 4 documents that we're looking for. So we're looking for the learner evidence record or the delegate evidence record, and that's the full learner evidence record, incidentally, for the sample group of learners that are shown on part 1 of the internal verification record. We're looking for the internal verification record in full. So that's a part 1, a part 2A, and a part 2B, and when relevant, a part 2C. Very rarely see a part 2C, but nevertheless, if there's any internal verifiers watching, you may find that you need to give an action to the tutor, and in which case you would use and present a part 2C. Just an important point, without labouring it too much here, for part 2A, if it's the same tutor delivering 2 different qualification types or courses, we'll need a part 2A for each course with unique comments on both documents. but we only need one Part 2B. If there's two tutors delivering the same course, we need a Part 2A for each tutor, again with unique comments on both, and we need a Part 2B for each tutor. We need a course plan for each of the qualification types being delivered, and we need an internal assessment record or an internal assessment tracker. It's an interchangeable term, which shows all registered learners in Centre Hub and the tasks that they've successfully completed. And I will touch upon this a little bit later on. So they're essentially the four important documents and mandatory documents that we require. For this particular webinar, the independent assessor form is not really relevant. And any other documents that the quality assurance team may request of you, you can also upload. Or indeed, if you think any other documents is relevant to the quality assurance review or your course delivery, you're more than welcome to upload those as well. And we will look at them and we will comment upon them in the report. Next slide, please, Holly. Okay, so the quality assurance review meeting itself then. So I've already, sorry, things flashing up on my screen. I've already touched upon back in the March 26th webinar, getting ready for your quality assurance review, the booking process, and I also gave information on uploading the evidence and booking the quality assurance review. So essentially, there will be a form created in Centre Hub for you to upload the evidence into, and we would have sent you an email, or we will send, the quality assurance team will have done most likely at this stage of the academic year, or will do in the coming days and weeks, send you an email with the Centre Hub link to upload the evidence, and importantly, a Teams booking link so you can book a quality assurance review in one of our diaries. So the quality assurance review meeting, then what to expect. So prior to the meeting, we'll have reviewed the evidence that's been uploaded, and we'll check first and foremost that everything's there. So have you uploaded a course plan, or course plans, could be plural? Have you uploaded the full learner evidence records or delegate evidence records of the sample group? Have you uploaded an internal assessment record? And is there an internal verification record? So that's always a good starter for 10 if all those four documents are there. And then we'll drill down into each to make sure all the requirements have been met. If you've claimed your certificates, which again is the ideal process, we will check those prior to meeting to make sure that the names and numbers match with the names and numbers on the internal assessment record. And then during the meeting itself, we will discuss with you qualification delivery, your assessment decisions, your assessment processes, any leadership that was undertaken. Perhaps we'll also, we will also discuss the internal verification process and completion of the internal verification record. And during the quality assurance review, ladies and gents, it's really a time for you all to be completely immodest. So we really want you to sing the praises of your learners, the tutor, the internal verifier. Tell us all the things that went really well, the positive outcomes, what you achieved. Did you make an impact in the community? Honestly, we really want to hear all these stories. So you must share them with us during the quality assurance review. If there's any shortcomings identified from the quality assurance team, from the evidence that you've presented, of course, we will discuss this openly with you during the meeting. We won't hide anything. It's honest and open. And in some cases, we will give actions to address those shortcomings. More often than not, the actions are future course actions, which have to be met for subsequent courses. Very rarely would we give an immediate action, but I will elaborate a little bit more on those in a couple of slides' time. A report of the quality assurance review outcome will be sent to the centre manager via Centre Hub following the meeting. And the meeting itself, as I touched upon very early on in this webinar, it will be really informal. It will be conversational in nature. It will be supportive. we really want to support you. We want to get you through the quality assurance review because we want the learners to have their certificates. So we strive for a positive outcome, and the whole thing lasts around about 30 minutes. So it's not too long and arduous. Next slide, please, Holly.
Could I just add something there, Paul, just
Yeah, please
quickly
do.
before you move on? So just one thing, when we send those emails telling you which courses we're going to be reviewing and the evidence that you need to upload, as a quality assurance team, what we tend to do is if you're a centre that delivers multiple courses, we'll look through the courses and we'll see who the tutors are, who the internal verifiers are. We'll look at the different levels that you're delivering. And if we feel we want to select just a selection of those courses, a selection of the tutors and IVs, don't expect us to want to see every single course, every piece of evidence. The email will state which course we're going to look at, which pieces of evidence we want to look at, and that'll have been decided on who the tutors are, who the IVs are, and the different levels that you're delivering. So don't be alarmed if we've not asked to see everything that you're delivering. It doesn't mean that we aren't actually reviewing it. We will be doing that in the background as well. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no, very good point or points you made there, Lorraine. That was my senior memory there, failing me.
No,
Forgot
it's
all
only
about
because it
that.
came up today.
Yeah, oh no, it's really relevant. It is important. Yeah, and ultimately that's making it, easier for centres and centre managers for the uploading process. So no, it's a very pertinent point. Yeah, no, thank you for making that. Next, have you put the next slide up, Holly, please? So we have the quality assurance review then. We've reviewed the evidence, we've discussed openly and honestly your course delivery, your assessment methods and your outcomes. And there's essentially two outcomes following the quality assurance review. Two are satisfactory and one is unsatisfactory. So first of all, the one at the top, we've got green and red there. So the one at the top, the satisfactory, everything, all the evidence that you provided, the course plan, internal assessment record, the internal verification record, the learner evidence record from the sample group, fully meeting the requirements of the Leadership Skills Foundation. And as a consequence of that, we're giving you no actions at all. And as long as there's no outstanding finance exceeding 30 days or more, certificates will be approved for release. We may give a satisfactory outcome as well, but it could also be, following this one, future course actions given. So we deem this nothing overly serious, but requirements are not quite being fully met. So this is illustrative, not exhaustive, what I've listed here. So for example, a future course action may be given if all registered learners are not listed on the internal assessment record. And this is actually quite common. So please, when you look at the internal assessment record, can you make sure all registered learners are indeed listed on the internal assessment record? Part one of the internal verification record is not dated at the start of the course. Commonly, we see that dated at the end of the course, and it just gives the impression that it's been completed retrospectively. And inconsistent tutor feedback in the end of unit feedback sections. There could be some comments in some of the sections, or in some cases no comments at all. So that will merit a future course actions. Certificates will still be released, again, as long as there's no outstanding finance exceeding 30 days. And the important thing here is that the future course actions have to be met for the next course delivery in order for the certificates to be released. If you're unsure, as the academic year progresses or the new academic year progresses, I should say, beyond the quality assurance review, and you're unsure of the actions given, you can look in the quality assurance review report that's sent to you, or you can look in the action tab in Centre Hub, and there will be listed the actions that you have to meet. Very rarely we give an unsatisfactory outcome, and following this, there will be immediate actions given. And these are normally given a 4-week deadline to turn around, and we deem this something serious. So a mandatory requirement has definitely not been met, and that could be something like mandatory training not completed, tutor training, centre manager training, or internal verifier training. mandatory documents will be missing, and I should imagine all the quality assurance officers would have requested, you know, that, or certainly would have highlighted that documents are missing and would have requested before the quality assurance review for those documents to be sent. However, at the point of quality assurance review, there's something missing. So it could be the course plan internal assessment record, it could be the internal verification record, it could be the learner evidence record. One of the 4 documents missing. Practical observation forms in the learner evidence records could be blank. Or insufficient mandatory leadership hours being delivered by the learners. So we would deem those serious, and they would be given an immediate action, 4-week deadline, and certificates will be withheld until such time that those immediate actions have been met. And in nearly all cases, they are met. It's a temporary outcome, an unsatisfactory outcome. But let's not dwell on the negative here. Let's dwell on the positive, on the green. In nearly all cases, it's a satisfactory outcome, because I'd like to think, as a team of quality assurance officers and managers, we provide you with support leading into the quality assurance review. So in nearly all cases, we've addressed any shortcomings or deficiencies. So at the time of the quality assurance review, normally everything is in place to give a satisfactory outcome. Next slide, please, Holly. Right, I'm praying this works. I went into a bit of a cold sweat 10 minutes before this webinar because the play button was missing. So I've relied on my team here to put that in place. So I'm now going to show you a video. It's only a couple of minutes long, and it's really the end of the process. So we've gone through everything. It's been a satisfactory outcome, the quality assurance review. Certificates have been approved. Admin have awarded the certificates based on our recommendation, and then you will be sent an email from Centre Hub to say, congratulations, you can now go into Centre Hub and download your certificates. And this is the process, how to download your certificates. So I'm going to ask Holly actually to press that button, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that this is going to play. So this is how to download your certificates once you get the certificate from Centre Hub. Holly, please press that magic button.
Can you see that the next slide, Paul?
Sorry,
Can I-
Holly, what was that?
I was just saying, I just want to check, can you see the next slide? Because the video is now finished.
Oh, it's finished. Okay. Yeah. Can you play the next, show the next slide?
Can I just check? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I'll be taking over from this one, I think, Paul.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, that's everything from me. I'll pass you over to Joe.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, and thank you, everyone. My name's Joe, obviously, and I'm from the business development team. So my role is essentially, in a nutshell, to support centres as a relationship manager, as a point of contact. So any queries or questions you've got, any support you need throughout the course, you'll have a dedicated member of our team to basically guide you and support you through the process. So yeah, with regard to planning your next program, the beauty of it is that when it happens is completely up to you. So we're quite flexible with when you determine is a good time to register your course and run the course. We don't have kind of deadlines you need to meet in order to run it. We allow you to run courses for up to 3 years as well. So you've got quite a bit of leeway to get one finished if it is a bit more time intensive. In terms of how you plan your program, like I alluded to before, you'd have a dedicated development officer, one of my team, to support you with which one you select, which you can do via a meeting, which you can book through myself, which I'll get to on the next slide, or another member of the team. And then, yeah, we can obviously help with the planning process and get things moving for when you are ready to deliver. In terms of the resources available, we will have the new ones available from the 1st of August. So each year we ensure that the resources are kept up to date and kind of make improvements to them where we can, keep it fresh and more exciting, and yeah, up to date in line with the standards that we set basically. So these are comprised of, but not limited to, LERs, which are learner evidence records. So these are what the learners will complete throughout the course. They'll have a booklet to evidence their leadership or demonstration of leadership. And at the end of the course, as we've been told by Paul earlier, a sample of these will be submitted to us to be quality assured. And if all goes well, hopefully certificated. And then also we provide tutor resources in the form of PowerPoints. So you'll have access to basically deliver the course in line with how we would want it to be done, but also you can put your own spin on it, obviously within the guidelines of the quality assurance processes. So yeah, you'll have PowerPoints, you'll have internal assessment records, all the documents and all the things you need basically to run the course. So it's basically off the shelf, ready to deliver, which makes it really accessible and easy. And as I said, yeah, you'll have internal verifier forms. So these will be what one of the staff members complete, just to kind of show that they've done their due diligence in that role. I know I said there wasn't any deadlines to register, but the one deadline we do have in place is the 31st of October, which you'll have a different price if you register after that point. But we do actually expect you to also register the course before it starts, and that's quite important, so we know kind of what kind of centre you are, the kind of support you'll need if you've got a larger cohort, larger numbers, if you need certain additional support and requirements. So we do stress that you register it before it starts, which is very simple to do, and you'll have support to do that. And then also another thing that we provide free of charge as part of being a centre and registering our courses is the staff training. So this is accessible online on a platform called Moodle. You'll just have to create an account along with any other staff that are going to undertake that role. So there'll be tutor training, internal verifier training, and centre manager training. And they'll each respectively take around half an hour to complete. And you'll have a certificate as well to go with that once it is done. If I could have the next slide, please, Holly. Thank you. So the offers that we have, as I said before, we have learner evidence records where the learners will document their evidence of leadership. So we have a free printed LER that we provide for the sports, dance, STEM, esports and Lowland leadership courses. So this is essentially a printed version of the digital one that will be available to every centre, and the delivery time of this, if you do register it before the 22nd of July, would be the first week of term, basically. So first week of September, or second week, I guess, if it's 2026. But yeah, we will need you to tell us that you want them. So if you could just inform us of that, we'll make sure that they're with you and ready to use upon the start date of the course, hopefully for next year. So if you contact us on the provided email there, I can also put it in the chat just after I've finished talking, just so you've got it to hand. But if you get in touch with that email, we can then pass it on to a relevant member of the team to support you with the registration and get that